The air on Zero Next station always smelled like burnt metal and something sour. Probably the algae paste the insectoid crew ate for breakfast. Jax mopped the same hallway for the third time that shift, his calloused hands gripping the handle tighter every time a six-legged engineer scuttled past without bothering to avoid his bucket. Their chitinous legs clicked against the floor, leaving sticky trails he'd have to scrub later. Watch it, Soft-Skin, hissed Fricks, a spindly, mantis-like overseer as it adjusted the glowing hull badge on its thorax. You'll feel the disrupting shift rotations. Jax bit back a reply. He knew better. Humans weren't exactly popular since the Galactic Council labeled Earth a Category 11 death world, too many predators, too much weather, too fragile. The Council's report claimed humans survived by luck, not evolutionary merit, and stations like Cyrenex treated them like walking liabilities. His wristcom buzzed. A public alert flashed in jagged alien script. Survival Accord initiated. Species reassessment trial commences in 2 hours. Participants, volunteers or designated inferiors. A murmur rippled through the crowd of alien workers. Jax's translator implant struggled to keep up with the overlapping hisses and chirps, but he caught the jest. Exterminate the weak. Finally purge the surplus. His stomach dropped. The council had been threatening population audits for months. He'd heard rumors of trials on other stations, species forced into arenas to prove their right to exist. And Earth, with its fresh death-world stigma, would be first in line for designated inferior status. A hologram flickered to life above the station's central hub. A towering, jellyfish-like council envoy pulsed with bioluminescent disdain. Humans, it droned, tentacles quivering. Present no SS strategic value, survival probability 2.9%. Submit volunteers or face collective reassignment. Reassignment. A clean word for deletion. Jax's mop clattered to the floor. Before he knew he'd moved, he was at the hub's registration kiosk, jamming his thumb against the scanner. The machine beeped, unimpressed. Volunteer confirmed. Jackson Reed, human, occupation, sanitation specialist. Fricks loomed behind him, clicking with laughter. You'll last 10 minutes, Softskin. The Accord's arena is tailored for mortality. Jax ignored it, staring at the holographic waiver. Fine print warned of biomechanical hazards, predatory fauna, and atmospheric calibration. He almost smiled. Earth had prepared him for worse. The prep room was colder than the rest of the station. Jack shivered as a drone scanned him, its red beam lingering over the scar on his ribs, a souvenir from a shrapnel blast during the Mars colony riot. The walls hummed with alien tech, screens flashing symbols he couldn't read. A hologram flickered, projecting a towering, glacier-covered mountain that dissolved into a searing desert. Trial parameters, drone synthesized voice. Survive 72 Earth hours in a composite biome simulating Category 11 hazards. Atmospheric shifts every 6 hours, fauna lethal. Assistant prohibited. Frick slithered into the room, flanked by 2 armored guards. No weapons, Softskin, just your remarkable human resilience. It tossed a pouch at Jax's feet. Inside, a frayed robe, a broken thermal blanket, and a rusted multi-tool. Generous, yes, we'd even included bandages. Jax clenched his jaw. The items were junk, but the multi-tool's blade still had an edge. He slid it into his boot, ignoring Frick's sneer. Warning. Trial commencement in 15 minutes. A memory flashed smoke screens, a field hospital on Titan. A young soldier clutching a gut wound, whispering, Doc, am I gonna make it? Jax hasn't slept in days, his gloves crusted with blood. Stay with me, he'd said, stitching flash by flashlight. You're tougher than this rock. The hologram shifted, showing a leaderboard. Species names flickered with percentages next to them. Dorathians. 98.7% survival. Krell, 95.1%. Human, 2.9%. A betting pool, Frick said, tapping the screen. I wagered you'll succumb to hypothermia, the other's favorite evisceration. Jack stared at the numbers. 2.9%. The council hadn't even bothered to fake the math. A small, squid-like alien hurried in, its tentacles clutching a datapad. It hesitated, then chirped at Jax's translator. Asterisk atmospheric shifts follow 6-6-6 pattern. Fire, ice, storm, repeat, asterisk. Frick's whirled, snatching the datapad. Interfere again, Dr. Krell, and you'll join the trial. The squid alien fled, but not before tossing a protein bar into Jax's lap. He pocketed it, nodding thanks. 5 minutes. Jack stripped off his station jumpsuit, revealing a torso mapped with scars. The guards leered until he glared back, a trick he'd learned dealing with Martian warlords. Never show fear. Frick's lean clothes, its breath reeking of ammonia. Your corpse will fertilize the biome's floor. Poetic, yes. Jack said nothing. He focused on the hologram's terrain. Jagged cliffs, rivers of lava, forests with trees like barbed wire. Earth's deadliest, they'd said. But Earth had also given him monsoons that drowned cities, blizzards that froze armies, and the stubbornness to outlast both. Cannons. A portal hissed open, blasting him with oven-hot air. Beyond it, the arena loomed, a patchwork nightmare of ecosystems stitched together by alien tech. Jack stepped through. The ground shook. A volcano erupted in the distance, ash blotting out the fall sky. He grinned. Home sweet hell. The first wave of heat hit Jack like a punch. Ash rained down, stinging his eyes as he scrambled up a jagged slope of black rock. Below, lava bubbled in a river that split the terrain, its surface cracking like glowing HLs. The air reeked of sulfur, and his lungs burned with every breath. Volcanic zone. Of course they'd start with fire. He wiped sweat from his brow, squinting through the haze. The multitool's blade glinted in his hand, useless against lava, but maybe good for prying loose a weapon. An old tree clung to the cliffside ahead, its bark charred but still standing. Jack lunged for it, yanking a branch free. The wood hissed where it touched to his palm, searing his skin. Hour 1. Adaptation. A robotic voice echoed overhead. Jack glared at the sky, where drones buzzed like wasps, broadcasting his every move to the galaxy's morbid viewers. He snapped the branch into a jagged spear, testing its weight. Good enough. The ground trembled. A fissure split open, spewing molten rock. Jack dove sideways, rolling behind a boulder as lava splattered where he'd stood. His left arm screamed. A droplet had seared through his flesh. He bit back a curse, tearing a strip from the thermal blanket to wrap the wound. The material melted slightly, fusing to his skin. First rule of field medicine. Improvise. He pressed onward, scanning for water. No rivers, no rain, just endless rock and fire. Then he spotted it. A cluster of bulbous plants growing near a steam vent, their translucent leaves swollen with liquid. Jack stabbed one with his spear. Acidic sap sprayed out, eating into the rock. He recoiled, but not before a few drops hit his forearm, sizzling like bacon. Death world floor. Perfect. Our sex. Atmospheric shift imminent. The drones retreated. The lava river froze mid-flow, crusting over like a scab. Then the temperature plummeted. Jack's sweat turned to ice on his skin. Frost crawled up the cliffs, transforming the hellscape into a glittering wasteland. The false sky darkened, and snow began to fall thick, suffocating flakes that buried the terrain. Arctic phase. Time to move. He stumbled toward the cave he'd spotted earlier, his boots slipping on ice. The thermal blanket, now half destroyed, barely slowed the shivers racking his body. Inside the cave, he found stalactites of ice and a pile of frozen alien machinery, debris from past trials. A cracked drone rotor, a shattered glass panel, and, they know, a dead competitor's pack frozen under ice. Jax hacked at it with his multitool, freeing a canteen and a frayed cord. The canteen slashed liquid inside, still unfrozen. He sniffed it. No scent. Better than nothing. He drank, grimacing at the metallic tang. Hour 12. Fauna introduction. A low growl echoed through the cave. Jax froze. Outside, a shadow moved, a hulking, six-legged creature with spiked fur and eyes like frozen coals. It sniffed the air, jaws dripping saliva that froze into icicles before hitting the ground. Predator. Arctic Edition. Jax backed deeper into the cave, clutching his spear. The beast lunged, its claws screeching against the ice floor. He sidestepped, driving the spear into its flank. The wood snapped. The creature roared, swiping at him. Jax grabbed the drone rotor and swung, a desperate wild strike. The rotor's sharp edge sliced the beast's paw, and it retreated, howling. Hour 18. Atmospheric shift imminent. Again. Jax's fingers were numb, his breath fogging air. The cave shuddered. Ice melted into slush as heat surged back. Outside, the snow vaporized, revealing scorched earth beneath. The volcano reawakened, spewing fresh ash. Jack staggered into the open, his body caught between shivering and sweating. His arm throbbed where the acid and lava had bitten him. He scavenged a shard of reflective glass from the debris, angling it to check his injuries. The burns were angry and red, but no necrosis. Lucky. He spotted a drone carcass half buried in mud, a recent kill, maybe by the Arctic beast. Inside its metal ribs, he found a battery cell, still charged. Improvised welder. He sparked the battery against his multi-tool, creating a weak arc. Not enough to fight with, but maybe to signal. To whom, though? The aliens betting on his death. R24. For an upgrade. A hologram flickered above the arena, our leaderboard update. Human survival probability 4.1%. Laughter boom from unseen speakers. Pathetic progress, soft skin. Frex's voice taunted. But don't worry, we'll make it interesting. A hatch opened in the fake sky. Something slithered out, a serpentine creature with scales like molten iron and fangs dripping neon green venom. It dropped into the lava river unharmed and began swimming toward Jax. He backed up, clutching the broken rotor. You call this a trial? He shuddered at the drones. Earth's roaches are deadlier. The serpent lunged. The serpent's fangs grazed Jax's shoulder as he twisted away, neon venom sizzling against the rocks. He lunged for the drone battery in his pocket, fingers trembling. Improvised weapons, human specialty. Come on, you overgrown lizard, Jax snarled, sparking the battery against his multi-tool. The arc flared blindingly bright. The serpent recoiled, hissing at the light. Jax hurled the battery into its gaping maw. A pop. A crackle. The creature shuddered, smoke curling from its scales as electricity coursed through it. It collapsed into the lava river, dissolving in a plume of acrid steam. Human survival probability 7.3%. The drones buzzed louder. Jack slumped against a boulder, clutching his bleeding shoulder. The venom hadn't hit him, but the gash burned. He fumbled with the multi-tool's blade, sterilizing it in a nearby geyser's steam before slicing his jumpsuit into bandages. Stitch the muscle first, then the skin. Memories of Titan's field hospitals flooded back, suturing wounds by flashlight, soldiers gritting teeth through pain. His hands moved automatically, threading fibers from the frayed rope through his flesh. No anesthetic, no whimper. Just sweat and steady breaths. Hour 30. Atmospheric shift imminent. The ground groaned. Ice surged across the lava fields, extinguishing fires as the arena plunged back into Arctic hell. Jack stumbled toward the cave, now glazed in frost, and found the frozen pack he looted earlier. Inside, a crackle stick. He snuffed it, bathing the cave in eerie blue light. A soft beep echoed. The protein bar Dr. Krell had given him vibrated, its wrap appealing to reveal a hidden chip. Jax pressed it to his translator. Trial rigged, Dr. Krell's voice whispered. Biome shifts accelerate when you adapt. Predators double each cycle. Sabotage the control node at Sector 7G. A holographic map flashed, a jagged ridge marked with a pulsing X. Jack smirked. Cheaters never expect counter-cheats. R36. Fauna upgrade. 2 serpentine shadows dropped from the sky. Jax bolted from the cave, clutching the glow stick. The predators slithered after him, their molten scales melting ice into toxic puddles. He dodged, weaving towards Sector 7G. The ridge was a maze of frozen machinery. At its peak, a glowing orb pulsed, the control node. Jax jammed his multi-tool into a crevice, prying open a panel. Wires spilled out, crackling with alien energy. Reverse polarity. Overload the circuit. He stabbed the multi-tool into the wires. Sparks flew. The node exploded in a shower of embers, and the arena shuddered. Warning. Biome stability compromised. The false sky flickered. The drone stalled. In the observation deck, Frick slammed its claws on the console. He's hacking the trial, deploy the backup swarm. But the crowd wasn't listening. Alien viewers leaned closer, mandibles clicking in fascination. A beta-like merchant grumbled, I just bet 50 credits on the human. Human survival probability 14.6%. Jax didn't celebrate. The serpent still lurked below, and frostbite nibbled his toes. He scavenged a shard of broken glass, honing it into a crude knife. You want a show? He shouted at the drones. I'll give you a show. He leapt onto the nearest serpent's back, driving the glass blade into its skull. It thrashed, tossing him into a snowdrift. The second lunge, but Jax rolled, slashing its throat with the multi-tool. R42. Atmospheric shift delayed. System error. The arena froze mid-transition, half volcanic, half arctic. Jax limped toward the steaming hot spring, its waters tinged with alien minerals. He soaked his wounds, hissing at the sting. Dr. Krell's voice crackled again through the protein bar chip. They'll send worse, but the galaxy is watching. Survive. Jax stared at the drones. Tell the Council Earth doesn't break easy. The arena shuddered, tectonic plates of fire and ice colliding. Volcanoes erupted through glaciers, spewing ash into hurricane-force winds. The fall sky flickered between day and night, and the ground split into jagged mazes of molten rock and frozen crevices. Jax clung to a cliff side, his fingers raw and bleeding. Below, the last predator, a winged, scorpion-tailed beast, screeched, its claws tearing through the chaos. R48. Final phase. Mortality protocols activated. You hear that? Jax muttered to himself, hacking at the ice with his multi-tool. They're scared. He'd found the control node's wreckage, a twisted spire of alien metal, and used its cables to rappel down the cliff. But the predator followed, its wings slicing through the ash storm. Jax's injuries screamed. Vern's frostbite, a dislocated shoulder he'd popped back into place using a rock. Medic's training never quits. Human survival probability 21.8%. The drone swarmed, broadcasting close-ups of his bloodied face galaxy-wide. Jax spat ash and grinned. Enjoying the show? A tremor rocked the cliff. Boulders broke loose, crashing into the lava below. Jax spotted a fissure, then ice over a volcanic vent. Unstable. Perfect. He scrambled sideways, luring the predator toward the weak point. Its stinger lashed out, missing him by inches. Jax grabbed a shard of reflective glass, angling it to blind the creature. It roared, lunging blindly. No. He slammed his multi-tool into the fissure. The ice cracked. The predator's weight finished the job. The cliff collapsed. Jax leapt for a dangling cable as the beast plummeted into the lava, its howls cut short by the inferno. But the cable snapped. He free fell, grabbing at debris, a frozen drone wing, a shard of obsidian, before slamming onto a narrow ledge. Warning. Biome integrity critical. Shut it down. Frix's voice crackled over the arena's speakers. The human's resilience is inciting unrest in the lower decks. Another voice, deeper. The accord cannot be halted. Proceed. Jax laughed, coughing blood. Too late for Bio's remorse. He dragged himself up the ledge toward a cavern glowing with bioluminescent fungi. Inside, he found a graveyard of past trial victims, bones, rusted gear, and a dented hydration pod. He drank greedily, the liquid stinging his cracked lips. Hour 54. Atmospheric shift. Category 11 storm. Rain fell acidic, burning through rock. Jack sheltered under the pod, watching the terrain dissolve. The storm merged fire, ice, and poison into a kaleidoscope of death. His vision blurred. Not yet. Not here. Dr. Krell's chit beat. Overseers divided. Some now bet for you. Cause another system failure, collapse the arena. Jack stared at the crumbling sky. Howl. The central generator, top of the storm. A holographic path flickered in his translator. A route through the maelstrom. He tied the last of his rope into a harness, strapped the drone wing to his back, and climbed into the storm. Wind ripped at him. Acid rain ate through his makeshift shield. But the drones followed, zooming in as he inched upward. Human survival probability 33.5%. Double the odds, a thundering voice boomed, a bet from some alien gambler. Jax reached the generator, a pulsating orb of energy. He jammed the multi-tool into its core. The arena went dark. Silence. Then, an explosion of light. The biomass imploded, fire and ice swelling into a vacuum. Jax fell, the drone wing snagging an updraft. He crash-landed in a dead forest, the predator's corpse smouldering nearby. Hour 72. Trial concluded. Frix's voice trembled. Survival confirmed. The drones hovered silent. Across the galaxy, screens flickered with Jax's battered face, bloody, burned, but alive. The medics didn't bother to heal Jax fully. Galactic Council regulations only required stable vitals for inferior species. He limped out of the infirmary, his burns bandaged with alien gel that smelled like rotten fruit, and returned to his mop. The station's halls were quieter than usual. Alien crews paused as he passed, their compound eyes tracking him. A hulking reptilian engineer stepped around his bucket for the first time, his tail flicking in what the translator passed as acknowledgement. At the central hub, the holographic leaderboard still glowed. Human survival probability now read 100%, stamped with the Council sigil, a grudging admission of Earth's reclassification. No fanfare, no ceremony. Just a line of text in the galaxy's most hated font. Fricks intercepted him near the RV vats, its mandibles twitching. Your performance has caused inconvenience, it hissed. The lower decks are demanding death welder odds for their own trials. Jack shrugged, wringing his mop. Guess they like underdogs. Dr. Kroz got huddled over, tentacles offering a nutrient bar, this time unpoisoned. Council purged the trial records, its translator shouted. But word spread, your species designation is now controversial. Jack snorted. Controversial meant feared. Feared meant respected. He finished his shift, the acidic stench of the floors mingling with the metallic tang of his own blood. When the comms chimed with a request for him to attend an honorary convocation, he declined. Tell him I'm busy, he said, and meant it. By the next cycle, things were almost normal. Almost. The algae paste still reeked. The insectoid crew still left sticky trails. But now, when Jax entered the mess hall, the chatter dimmed. A Krell scientist vacated its seat, gesturing to him with a tentacle. He sat alone anyway. That night, as he mopped the trial's observation deck, he found a crude carving on the wall, a human stick figure standing on a dead serpent. Beneath it, alien script. Tithwood attacks, a slang term his translator said for unexpected victory. Jax erased it. Rules were rules. But as he walked away, he left the mop bucket in the middle of the hallway. No one kicked it over.